What is up, everybody? I'm Max from the Marvelous Podcast, joined by Big G. We are going to be talking about She-Hulk episode 2. G, how you doing today?
Man, I'm ready to get it in, man. I really think that people are downplaying this whole She-Hulk thing, man, because the episodes are jam-packed, they're short and sweet, but man, are we getting some subplots and all whatever else leading up to what I think is going to be a grandiose finale. So let's get to talking and let's talk what we need to talk, bro.
Yeah, before we do that, we just want to thank everyone who's subscribed, who's liked the video, left a comment, or even just told people, hey, check out these guys doing the Marvelous Pod. They're just a bunch of knowledge there. There's a bunch of hot takes, a bunch of little fights between the guys. That's what makes us us. And we're going to dive straight into the episode. You know how we start. We do a brief recap. Then we hit the theme of the episode. Then we're going to break it down scene by scene, give you some spoilers, some Easter eggs, some things we saw that might connect to the future MCU projects or maybe past MCU projects.
Yeah,
So
sure.
This episode picks up right where episode 1 left off with Titania fleeing traffic court because she was knocked out by Jen Walters in a swift one punch, I might add. Mike Tyson in his prime type stuff.
Over the top like this, Max, like bow. One of them
That's what I like.
One of them comic books, pow, bang, boom. One of them, man.
And Jen, she's at the top of the world. She wants to go to a bar. There's chances She-Hulk. She walks in and she's confronted first by the hater from her law firm, Dennis, talking about how, ooh, you have superpowers, blah, blah, blah. He's a hater. If you're doing something right, you're going to have a hater. That's just how it works, guys.
Right, that's the rule of thumb. That's the rule of life.
But before she can start feeling really good, her boss comes over and says, Jen, I need to talk to you. And there might be kind of a lack of professionalism by her boss because she's going to get fired in the very bar. She's trashed because she took way too big of a shot at She-Hulk. And when she switches back to Jen, the metabolism changes. But basically, she's unemployed. She loses her job because of a mistrial. The lawyer from the other side said, hey, she just saved the jury's life. They're going to like her more. So the case gets thrown out, even though she was already going to win. So when she's already at her top, she just lost the part of her life that had defined her way before She-Hulk even entered the fray. She was a lawyer for how many years, G? Like 20 years?
Yeah.
Or 10 years?
I mean, she had done, well, you got to remember, even in the lawyer world, she had did a bunch of pro bono stuff trying to work her way to be the lawyer and pass the bar. And it said, episode 1, all them certificates and degrees all up on the wall from UCal and all whatever else. She didn't be getting it in for a minute, Max.
Yeah, and she goes on a job hunt. She's like, you know what? I got fired. Let me go find a new job. But you know what? She's unemployable. No one wants to deal with the She-Hulk personality she has. Think about Tim Tebow when he was on the Jets or the Broncos. He became such a sideshow for the media. It's unemployable. It's not fair. It's not right. But, those are the drawbacks Bruce was talking about. You can't go back to being a lawyer. And throughout the first part of the episode, he seems right. And even an awkward family dinner where everyone's talking about this isn't our first Hulk. We know what to deal like. There was a great question by Jen's dad about what does Hawkeye do with those arrows? Does he go back and pick them up? Does he leave them? Personally, that's got to be one of the best questions ever asked by a character in the MCU.
Well, isn't it amazing, too, how they keep doing throwbacks to the original team that he was a part of? First episode, all about Captain America, which we're going to have some spoilers on later on. But now the focus shifts even more to like Hawkeye, who's another guy that's clouded in mystery. So we're going to find out some more information about Hawkeye moving forward.
Yeah, and, her parents, they're supportive. They're a little weird. Her cousin's kind of a weirdo. But she's like, it could be worse, Jen. You didn't destroy a city like your cousin. So there's that. But she goes to a bar. She's wallowing, G, in self-pity. But the lawyer from the other side, Mr. Holloway, says, hey, we have a new law division. We want you to be the star. Jen, she's over the moon. She gets ready. She gets her hair done. She's looking great for her first day of work. And she enters. And she kind of gets the realization that, hey, they don't want me. They want She-Hulk.
Yeah,
and the job is contingent on her being She-Hulk, not Jen Walters.
Right. Yeah. They want the meta. They want the meta human or whatever you want to call them, because I haven't figured out exactly what she is yet, but they definitely want the other person, or like how Mr. Banner used to say, the other guy. They don't want Jennifer Walters.
And it's a tough pill for Jen to swallow because for so long, like we've said, she was a lawyer. Jen Walters, the attorney, ruled her life. And now the She-Hulk in seemingly 2 days has stolen every bit of her identity. So she weighs her options. She decides, you know what, I'll go through with it. I don't have any other job opportunities. In her first case, and again, it's contingent on her taking the job, is she has to represent the Abomination. There's no getting out of it.
Right.
Emil Blonsky, you remember him from the Incredible Hulk movie, a little brief thing in Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Which they throw back to that too, but we'll get into it.
So she agrees to go to prison as we're joined by Maud. What's up, Maud? So she goes to prison to visit Emil. You know, and he's a reformed guy. He's like, I got that under control. I write these beautiful haikus that just make the world feel great again. He apologized to Hulk for what he did. And he lays out his case for, hey, I wasn't really the bad guy. I was a decorated war veteran. I did what the U.S. government told me. I took the serum. I wanted to be Captain America, and it blew up in my face. And I don't know how you guys feel, and we'll get into it a little later. He makes some valid points. He wins Jen to his side. She agrees to take the case, and as she does, she turns on the news, and they have the footage from Shang-Chi of Emil Blonsky fighting Wong, and that's how the episode ends.
That's right.
So
Escape from Alcatraz. Escape from Alcatraz. That's what he was talking about.
So Maud, I want you guys to give me your theme of the episode. What did you guys think when you watched it?
Maud, you got it. Call it out, because I got my theme already. My theme is going to be a classic throwback, but let me see what Maud got to say.
Well, I mean, you know, it was another good episode. You know, really, really good episode. I think it was solid writing again. I have questions. I'm left with a lot of questions, right? And I'm just gonna dive right into my questions because I know if I don't, G's gonna hit him. You know, definitely, where's Hulk going? We know that he's in an aircraft, and we're assuming that he's going back to where he was during Ragnarok. But is he really? I mean, does he have what is he going back for? Does he have kids? Are we setting the theme for World Breaker Hulk, World War Hulk? Are we setting that up? Is that what's happening? I don't know, because we still haven't seen you know, him in this episode with because there's a picture of him and I forget who it was, Mark Ruffalo and somebody, another character together that hasn't been on the screen yet, but he was in green screen. So there's a picture of them two together. And I'm thinking, okay, so that's got to be here. So he has to come back for this episode, but he's gone for a minute. Then lastly, if it wasn't the government sneaking Emil out during Shang-Chi and sneaking him out and he getting into his form, what the heck was, I'm looking forward to that conversation with Wong. Why was Wong taking him out? If it wasn't the government that was doing it, who was doing it and why? You know, so I mean, it just left me with different questions in the episode. And again, I like I love the post-credit scene, you know, of her being everybody's use it victim, just like, hey, we need you to come pick up the refrigerator. Hey, we need you to come help us change this flat tire. Hey, we need you to help us bring this in the house. So I love that. That was really entertaining. But that's all I got. G, what you think?
Man, to go back and answer Max's question, man, you know, if I had a theme for the episode, it's the setup for the wet up. You know, like they're setting this up. They're setting up the whole plot. For those that don't know and understand what's actually going on, they're setting up everything from possibly World War Hulk to Thunderbolts to some plot theories with Captain America to some off-brand theories of what Marvel heroes they're going to bring into the West Coast Avengers to other gamma-rated people that you're going to see possibly in the show, including her family member. So the whole thing to me is like the setup for the wet up. They had Jennifer Walters buy into logic, which made sense to her because she's smart just like Bruce Banner is, but more on the logistics side than the scientific side. So she's so smart and so logical when Neil Blonsky starts kicking his facts to her. And, you know, like they used to say in old hip hop, kick me to mathematics. He kicked it down to her and told her, like, hey, look, I did this, I did that, I did this, and you're going to buy into it. And she pauses and looks and stops, and, you know, like, he's right. Even to the point to where her own cousin, who's Bruce Banner, who knows her really well, almost like a brother. When they get in conversation, he gets to talk about, you didn't call to ask me could I do it. You called to tell me, you told me you was going to do it because I know how Blonsky thinks and he's kicking logic to you. So it's the whole setup for the wet up. Is Jen going to come out of this looking like a villain? And that's why they activate the Thunderbolt. So she's going to come out of this looking bad, or is Banner going to come out of this looking bad? And the government's going to say, hey, this is what we got to do. Because the Superhero Registration Act, for you guys that don't know, in the comic books is huge. And even more so, it's here to stay. So my theme for the episode, Max, is the setup for the wet up. Some big stuff is coming later on.
No, and my theme, Sean and Maud, was just tough decisions and losing an identity. So Jen is faced throughout of losing the identity of Jen and being replaced with She-Hulk, even in her profession, which she thought was the escape from the She-Hulk personality. And it's just tough choice after tough choice. It's the choice of, hey, saving the jury's life, losing my job, taking a job where Jen Walters is a background where she's expected to come as She-Hulk every day to work. So Jen has to deal with that, and it's a big adjustment for somebody. Think about it. You've been alive for 30 years, and now all of a sudden you're defined by something that happened to you last week.
Right. That's a hard deal. Like you said, how many people, just in the really real world, would have an opportunity to shift that fast of a notice? You go from being something you know nothing about or you've heard to now something you have to be in order to just survive and what you want. So there's a lot of life things. Plus, Max, the whole big plot too, or something that I'm picking up on. This, and there's some folks that's got an issue with it. It's like almost like a feminist movement, but it's not. She's kicking real world facts about how it actually is to be a woman in the world, in the professional world, right? And it's like they sometimes, and I know this because I live in a house full of women that are, by the way, educated. My wife's got a freaking PhD, and my kids are super smart on their ways to master's degrees and bachelor's degrees. But a house full of females. And so a lot of times they feel that they got to do 10 things extra just to make themselves line up. So I can imagine how that feels when you get to the finish line and you actually accomplish what you would accomplish. And now it's taken all away from you and somebody wants you to do something different to survive in the thing that you very love. So there's a lot of good subplots to it, not just about the whole comic book era, but the idea of how women are treated in the society of the United States, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. And it's very valid of what she says and the points you brought up, G.
Yeah. Ma, what you think? Do you think that's what it is?
No, you can definitely see that. It's definitely hitting those type of points and hitting those type of emotions and lining up with it when she breaks the fourth wall and she's talking about her having to go in as a sideshow, or men wouldn't have had to do this, or that kind of thing. She's definitely connecting with the feminine movement, and I like it. It's one of those things that kind of showing how the workplace can be one-sided and how it can be slanted. I also like I can't help but loved how she celebrated. They went to a bar and she celebrated, and they're like, She-Hulk, and she doesn't like the name. If she doesn't like the fame, she don't like the name, but then she embraced it really, really fast for a job. Right. It's like, well, for the job, I'll do anything, kind of thing. But in her personal life, she just didn't want to embrace it. You know what I'm saying? And it's different. Like Max said, how would you feel if, all your whole life you've been this person, and then for you got to be who you are for 1 minute, and you have to be that for the rest of your professional career. That's kind of hard. But I think for the most part, I'm going to give this back to Max because I have to ask this question. Do you see the bridge that's forming in between She-Hulk and everything that's coming? Are you noticing how because G said it's the setup for the wet up, right? It really is. But do you see the train tracks, Max, that is kind of putting everything together. Because I remember I told you before that this episode, I think this character and this whole series was going to be a bridge. But I'm asking you, do you see it right now? Is it something that you're noticing?
I think what I see right now is just the fact that Jen is being separated from the Hulk, and they're taking the Hulk officially kind of off the board for the Earth stuff because he's leaving Earth, and we know he's going to go back to Sakaar. It's been applied. That's what I'm betting on. So I see the bridge for Jen just to step into the Hulk role and give it a bit more control and feminism, if that makes sense. Like, she's a woman. She's strong. She's different than the Hulk. She doesn't have that unabated rage where she can just get powerful. She's more cunning. She uses her head a lot more than the Hulk. And unfortunately for her right now, I think she's being used as she's being used in her job, because I think the hire was very calculated. It wasn't just because they think she's a good lawyer. It's a publicity stunt. It's about the Abomination, and it's probably about gamma radiation.
Yeah. Or Super Soldier. Or Super Soldier,
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But like I said, I have to go back, but I've seen the picture circulating. There was the picture of Mark Ruffalo. Oh, and the Funko Pop of him in the blue uniform, and you ain't seen that. You haven't seen him in the blue yet. You know what I'm saying? So my thought process, I don't know if he's totally gone. I don't know what's happening. I think they're taking him off the board for World War Hulk. I absolutely do. But then I'm thinking again, okay, well, they're going to bring him back for a second and then take him back out again and explain that he's going to Sakaar. That's the name of the place. Are they going to explain that he's going to Sakaar again? Or I don't know. Like, I don't know how they're going to make that happen, or if this is just the end and that was a beginning picture, or just, because if you go to places together, sometimes, you just get this random one-off picture. So I don't know if, that, because it's a picture of Mark Ruffalo in all of the sensor suit for them to make the AI, and he's with this person. Who is the person? I got to remember this. But I seen it today online, and it was a thought. I was like, wait a minute. We haven't seen this yet. So I don't know. It's a great question, and it's a setup for me. And I can see how the tracks are being laid at this point for this to be a really like a bridge series that kind of ties everything in.
Well, the issue is even more so, and I'm not reiterating a point. I'm just pushing the fact. The bottom line is that Kevin Feige and the boys over the MCU's whole line or lineage has always been deny. And we heard about rumblings of Planet Hulk or World War Hulk years ago. So now all of a sudden, here we go with the She-Hulk series. And in episode 2, we see this guy leaving a Sakaarian battleship. So we know where Sakaar is as far as the comic book is concerned. Is this actually him going back, finding out about his kids, seeing the wife die, the whole nine, and then coming back, But I mean, that's like an obvious plot. But I'm definitely seeing this whole thing about where we're building the Thunderbolts. You're going to see the Thunderbolts have a direct line or direct lineage to this. And, and I don't know if it's going to be, does Hulk come back at the end, or does She-Hulk lose it? Or is there a villain that they can't stop, and they're like, okay, does Abomination break loose? And they're like, okay, if he's loose, do we got to form the Thunderbolts to go get him? Because we know the Daredevil, we know Frogman's going to be in there, or Man Frog, whatever you want to call him. But do they actually have some stuff going on to where they got to form a super group to go get this guy, or whoever the evil person is? Do
you guys think Abomination is going to be a member of the Thunderbolts in the MCU?
I think they're pushing for amnesty. I think they're pushing for amnesty.
So I think that's a great segue to talk about the scene in the jail between Emil Blonsky and Jen Walters. And he really made a case. His case was, I was a decorated war vet. I served my country. Thunderbolt Ross told me to kill him. Mm-hmm. I took the formula to stop him.
Yeah.
He didn't know he was going to turn into the Abomination. Maybe he did know, but I mean, at the end of the day, he can always plausible deniability.
Right.
So it made me feel for Blonsky in a sense, because he really did his job. He got kicked into the tree and his whole spine was snapped and he was a puddle.
Right.
and he
Well,
recovered. So he made a good case, and she bought it. And I think a jury would buy it. Now the video at the end is damning, but the case he made, it adds up.
Right. When in a court of law, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And the obvious point of proof is the fact that Jen's like, wait a minute, the government set you up to do this? But how I'm not, I listened, I went back and I rewound that part about Blonsky like twice and listened to what he said. The only part I'm not buying is how he dehumanized Banner. He said that they had a threat that was on the board that I had to take out. He never called him by his name, Bruce Banner. He never called him by the Hulk. He just was like, I was the guy to come in and take this threat out. So that's almost like there's a sinister twist to what you're saying. But definitely, like I said, in what he was saying, it's what you can prove. And he can prove it. He can prove without a shadow of doubt to say that, hey, look, General Ross set me up to take the super soldier formula, to take this thing out. And after I got that, I got beat down and I needed some more to get even or fight, you know. And even the part where it went back and forth about her saying, well, you killed people. And he was like, well, I didn't know that was part of what I was doing. So does that make sense, Max?
Yeah, and I think we both should have said this. The Hulk was a villain in the beginning of the Incredible Hulk. And he is now an Avenger, one of Earth's mightiest heroes. While the Abomination's in jail for listening to the government. He made a valid point. And it's like Denzel said in Training Day. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
That's right. That's right. Hey, but even this, that's the same theme. And that's why, Max, you were, I think, head on thinking that he's going to be a member of the Thunderbolts, because that's the same pitch Val made to the U.S. agent or 100%. First Captain America or Mod, or what he called him, fake Captain America and all whatever else. It's the same pitch.
Make-A-Wish,
the same pitch about Make-A-Wish Captain America. It's the same pitch. So, you know, it's almost like the government is moving chess pieces. And there's no doubt in my mind, the law firm guy that came and employed Jim Walters, he set her up with Titanium. That was a setup. There's no doubt in my mind that was. He just wanted to see how strong she was. You know, so maybe they're going to try to recruit her and she's going to be like, nah, I'm cool. I'm going to stay over here.
But okay, so they said that it was a traffic stop or a traffic violation that she was fleeing and coming from, right? So we don't know, you know, why and how this actually happened with Titania, right? But I agree that it doesn't look good, right? And they never really explained why her best friend knew that she had Hulk powers, because she had never used them in front of everybody.
Well, she told her, I think, right? That was the point in the first one. She's like, Nikki knows. I told her or something.
Yeah,
like when she did her little spiel.
Yeah, okay, she told.
Yeah, because she was a real wingman. She's like, give me the shoes. Don't ruin the Louboutins.
Yeah,
make sure they're good.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, we're left thinking, okay, all right, and I kind of believe the Abomination at this point, right? I kind of believe that he is just a soldier. He's, you know, point and click. And I think, you know, I'm so confused at this Wong thing. This Wong thing just has my mind like, what did you need the Abomination to fight?
I think Wong's the villain. Wong saw an easy way to fix a fight, get some cash in the Sorcerer Supreme's pocket. I think Wong is a degenerate gambler. I think Wong set him up, and I think that's why Wong, you see him in the trailer being like, hey, I gotta tell you something. Like, I kind of broke him out just for a little fight. I was in deep with the mob. The fix was in.
Yeah. Hey, I'm buying this point too. And I don't know what y'all think.
It, Max. I like it, Max.
I mean, there was a loan shark in the bar who was like, Juan, I'm going to break all your fingers. You won't be able to do magic unless I get my 100,000.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? You know what I think the long shark is? You know what I think's pushing all the buttons? Victor Von Doom. I think Doom's pushing all the buttons. I think because in the comic book, Doom created Titania. He made her. He made her in Secret Wars. He made 2 women that had superpowers to offset, oh, by the way, She-Hulk and the Invisible Woman. That's why he made them. So why wouldn't, Marvel takes liberties, but why would he not tie that together? I think Doom's behind Val. I think Doom's behind the little evil guy that works for the law firm. I think he's behind the guy who went after Wanda. I think Doom's pushing all the buttons. I don't think it's Kang. I think Doom and Kang is gonna hash this thing out in a minute. But maybe in phase 6. But I think it's Doom pushing all the buttons. Anything Earth-based is Doom, man. In our current reality, anything Earth-based in our current reality, it's Victor Von Doom pushing the buttons, man. It's got to be, because nobody has that many resources and is that smart. Like Victor Von Doom is like 6 times powerful than Vladimir Putin. So he's got a little bitty small country that he's got 6 times as much power, man.
Oh my God.
And even more so, it ties Wong in, because Doom is just as much sorcery as it is technology. So he went to Wong like, look, bro, I got something for you. I need you to do A, B, C, and D. If you don't do it, it's gonna be a problem.
I took the under on the Putin mentions in the podcast, and G just decided to smash the over on that one.
He got
to roll with Putin, man. Got to roll with, and Von Doom is worse than Putin. Believe me. If he was alive in real life,
Von Putin.
If we was alive in real, we'd be in major trouble right now. We'd be in major trouble right now. If Von Doom was a real guy. So yeah, I think it's him. I think it's him moving people around like chess pieces, man. I really do believe it. And I think the more we get into the show, the more we get into maybe Black Panther, you're going to start seeing more and more and more Doom, man. It's pushing the button. That's just me.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because we've already saw in Moon Knight, we saw a mention of Doom. We saw Easter eggs of Victor Von Doom. So could be. It's not one of those things that's outside of the realm of possibility. So this question, I've made mention of it, but I need to ask, do you guys think that the Hulk is off of the board for the rest of the show?
Yeah. 100%.
Nope. I don't think he is.
He's in those frequent flyer miles.
Beyond that, mug went to hyperdrive and was going somewhere. So his frequent wire miles done cashed in big time.
Yeah. First class on that trip.
Yeah, for sure. But didn't you like the boss little laboratory he had in the spaceship? Who in the heck knew? Who in the heck knew to set that up for him like that? Who knew that?
The most unrealistic scene in any MCU, because there's no way. I don't care who his cell carrier is. There's no way he had reception. I can't get reception in the heart of LA, and he's getting reception in outer space. Maybe the satellite's right next to him. I don't know how it works, but that was BS.
He is an Avenger, so there could be an Avenger cell plant.
And he probably would have cracked his iPhone screen with his big Hulk hands that somehow he can go tender enough.
It could be an Avenger cell plant. You don't know. They got it could be a world phone. A
sat phone or whatever they call it. Yeah, whatever. That was the worst scene in the show for me. I was so salty. No way.
Max, you got to think about it. You got to go in deep, man. The Grandmaster was a playboy. He was a player. All his ships was party ships, man. This dude was partying across the galaxy. He can make some
hotline phone.
He can make some calls, and cause some damage on multiple planets and multiple universes. So I think the Grandmaster was getting it in.
So G, you think he's gone? You don't think he's gone for the whole series? Tell us why.
No. I think that the reveal at the end is going to tie back to Hulk. Maybe not coming back to the Earth, but maybe Scar coming back, right? Maybe because Scar's his son, and maybe Scar coming back at the end and be like, look, Dad, because Scar, if you watch the Hawks and Agents of Smash or read comic book stuff like that, Scar's sort of like old school, like dinosaur-ish, like caveman-ish, in his mannerism. He's not like Hulk, super smart. So I think that Scar, this is either going to lead up to where Hulk had to go because he owed Grandmaster and is going to do A, B, C, and D, and you're going to see him hook up. So like the post-credit scene, you're going to see him on Sakaar and like him doing his thing, or it's going to lead to somebody coming back to the Earth and saying it's something going on with him. We need to know. And there's no doubt in my mind. But you know what though, Mod and Max, you know what I know, and I've been picking up on this thing forever. Go back to the Avengers Endgame and the panel of the people that they were talking to about the universe throughout the whole, outside of Stephen Strange. The movies are about them. Everything that's come out so far is about those people. It's been wrapped around Rocket Raccoon, Wakanda, Banner, Carol Danvers. It even played out in Shang-Chi. Everything's been about these characters. So we know Rocket's off the board, right? I got a sneaky suspicion that Carol Danvers is off the board in a minute. So could this be Banner off the board for good? Because, you know, there's a theme going on that they're going to eliminate these people, which I think they're going to all bring back in Secret Wars anyway. But they're moving these folks off the board. So I think they're pivotal pieces. And that could be the hand that my man Kang is playing by moving Avengers off the board. And even in the statement in the trailer where he's like, haven't I killed you already? Haven't I killed the Avengers? So it's a lot going on, man. That's why I like it. And it gives so much room for speculation about what's actually going on in Marvel. To me, you know, if that makes sense, Max.
No, it does make sense. And I think that a lot of the stuff you said, we're going to have to just wait and see how it plays out. But you're right in about the focus of a lot of these projects. And wrapping up this episode, did you guys have a favorite scene? And then I want your episode grades, not 1 out of 10.
Did I have a favorite scene? Yeah. I think the scene where the conversation went on between Jennifer Walters and Emil Blonsky was the best part of the episode.
I'm agreeing with you 100%.
And I just wanted him to transform, right? Because I know there's some stuff to it. Because how did he do it? Because last we saw him, he was stuck in that form. How did he figure out how to transform back into his human self? So
I think he has it under
know
wraps. He's got it down. He's got it figured out.
I want to know about
Wong
that.
showed him that. I think
really
when they taught him that. If you think about it, I believe Wong is the one that showed him how to, suppress his anger enough to where he's not changing into, or the trigger that changes him into the Abomination. What was your episode grade, G? Before we get off that,
I give it between an 8 and an 8.5. I mean, the first episode was an 8 and 8.5. This was an 8 and 8.5, but for different reasons. It was a little bit more detailed, a little bit more comic booky, a little bit more tied to the original story of She-Hulk in the comics. So I'm still between that 8 and 8.5. But I think as we go on, we're going to get closer to 9s and 10s because this thing is setting up stuff that's just unbelievable. So I really dug it. That's just me, you know. What do y'all think? What was y'all grades?
9. I went with a 9. Thought it was a little bit better than last week, and I really enjoyed it.
Favorite scene?
The same as Sean. The Blonsky and her. Thought that was just a good chess match they had going on.
Wow.
My favorite scene was at the family dinner. Hilarious. Mr. Best Buy, the cousin that worked at Best Buy, and he's the manager at Best Buy. Oh, he's hilarious. He is hilarious. She's hanging the TV, and he's like, I could have did that. You know, it's like he's jealous of her because, you know, she got Hulk fame. And he's like, well, don't we already have a cousin who's the Hulk? Like, you know,
yeah.
At least, you know, he's just like, you know, they said, you know, well, you saved those people in the courtroom. And he was like, well, yeah, but the Hulk saved millions of people, you know?
Right,
so
right.
It's like, you know, he's a douche. He just is. He's that guy. And I love those characters in movies because they make you laugh. They're there to be obnoxious and to make you laugh. My grade for the episode is an 8.3 precisely. I think it was consistent, or 8.3, 8.5. It was consistent with the other episode, on point. It's really good. I think if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it, and you need to continue to watch it. And it's one of those things, those series that I think is going to develop even more. And we're going to get, because of the post-credit scenes, to me, they put care in every episode. They put a lot of care. The writers were really good. And they put a lot of care in every episode.
Hey, you just FYI too, so y'all know that character that Mod mentions, that's the cousin of Banner. That's a deep cut from She-Hulk episode, I think 31 in the comics, where her cousin actually gets powers, gamma powers to bulk up, and he's the prelude to guess what villain in the MCU. They give him powers to see if it'll work to give it to somebody else. and the villain is the Absorbing Man. So her cousin
Ooh.
actually gets powers like the Absorbing Man in the comic, which something bad happens to him. I can't remember if he dies or he's messed up real bad. And they do a transfer between him and the Absorbing Man to get the powers. So maybe he's the setup for the Absorbing Man in this, which would be, oh my God, I wouldn't believe it if I seen the Absorbing Man.
That would be excellent. I feel like that should have been your parting shot, G.
Nah. I mean, you got to understand and know I got like 3 She-Hulk comics right here up on the board, or on the big board. But I got a box full of She-Hulk comics, man. She-Hulk. Now, there's certain people that I was just drawn to in the comic books, and she really was, because I liked the spinoff of her from Banner. Hulk was always reckless, like he was gray and green, he was mindless. She-Hulk came in and was bossed up from the beginning, and her run, and Maude knows this because, we're brothers. The West Coast Avengers is my thing. So when she shifted to the West Coast and they had a West Coast Avengers squad, I was all in it. I was drawing pictures of her, Hawkeye, Falcon, everybody that was on the West Coast.
When you come into LA, cuz.
Yeah. So I think that's going down. I think that West Coast squad. If you're going to have the Thunderbirds, you got to have the West Coast Avengers.
So are they in LA? That's what I'm confused about. She said when
yes.
you come to LA.
Yeah, they're in LA.
So first of all, I live here. I didn't recognize any of those areas. So I don't know where they shot the show.
Some off place, man. Some off place that looked a little bit like LA.
Oh no, because I'm thinking it's New York because the prison was in New York.
The prison is in Los Angeles.
But that's the same prison as Kamala Khan, ain't it?
Yeah, the exact same.
No, that's the same prison.
It said this is my party shot. I'm gonna give it early. I'm sorry. That prison, it was Department of Damage Control, the same as Kamala Khan, like damage control for both.
Yeah.
Video got out of another prisoner escaping. How do they still have prisons open? Their stock is in the toilet.
But you've been saying that's
two guards getting murdered in Miss Marvel to Abomination breaking out. You cannot trust these prisons. El Chapo wishes he was put in one of these prisons. He'd be out in 2 days.
But they're super prisons, like the Raft is super prison.
They're horrible.
We know
people are escaping. Right?
Captain America and them got out of the Raft. How in the world do you get out of a super prison out in the middle of the ocean and sunk 30 feet down in the water?
They at least had help. I'm saying these guys are breaking out on their own, basically.
I don't know. There might be could the guy be Von Doom? Just helping them. Max, the setup for the wet up. they doing some stuff, man. I'm telling you. But I do give every super villain prison or superhero prison a big thumbs down. They are horrible, man.
Yeah, the MCU doesn't know how to do prisons. That's the moral of the story. You guys got anything else for the episode, or are you gonna hit parting shots?
No, parting shots.
I hit mine, so I'll give it up to you too. Whatever you guys want to say.
Yeah, so I shout out to Big G. I know he's in La La Land, and because if it was the first character that I know for sure that I know he loved, it's the Hulk. So having She-Hulk and the Hulk, this is right up his alley, and he's dancing in the streets. Literally, he's dancing in the streets. So I know he's happy. But again, I give this episode a thumbs up. I want you guys to check it out. There might have been a cut. I think I might have seen this, and I could have been wrong. I'm going back and I'm gonna watch it again. I was trying to watch it before the show, but ran out of time. Did I see a man fighting in the bar with metal arms? Did I see that? Did I see a Wolverine Easter egg in this episode? I don't know. Check it out. That's my parting shot. When you go back and you watch it, when she's on the computer reading files, did you see a cut? A man fights in the bar with metal hands or metal arms, something like that. Is this a Wolverine deep cut? I don't know. Parting shot.
Yeah.
Parting shot.
Hey, I think not so much was that a man like Wolverine fighting in the bar, but I think by episode 3 or no later than episode 4, we're going to get another reference to mutants. And I think that's outside of the subplots with Kang, outside of the subplots with Dr. Doom, outside of the subplots of Thunderbolts. I think the biggest subplot for She-Hulk is going to be because it's the Superhero Registration Act. Why there's so many super powered people in the world now. Where the heck did all these people come from? Oh, they're mutants. So I think that I think that's coming, and I've already said that there's not going to be like the traditional X-Men type folks going on. You're going to get reference to mutants all throughout this. So pay attention to the lineage or the line of mutants and really listen for how did all these superpower beings all of a sudden show up? Because that's, I think, what's really going on as far as the bigger picture, the bigger subplot.
And I'll just add this, and it's because we made a video, and G, you were the one who put me on this. In the post-credit scene, she was working on the car that had troubles, and that is just a callback to the comics, is it not?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. She-Hulk episode number 3 or 4, original comic run episode number 3 or 4, where she's having, and where it was just a continuous thing, sort of like the Deadpool gag. Deadpool's got certain gags that's always been in the comic books. She-Hulk has always had car trouble throughout the history. She's always had car trouble.
And that's a cool callback to me. And guys, is there anything else before we send it home?
Nah, bro. I'm not. Just watch She-Hulk. It's a good series. It's a good show. I'm enjoying it, and I think most people will once they settle in and get past the freaking CGI, ladies and gentlemen. I can't emphasize that enough. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's not. So get past it. All you critics out there, the CGI is horrible. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Watch the show, man.
Anything?
No, I agree. That's it.
And for those of you tuning in, we appreciate it. Guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below. Hit that like button like the Hulk smashes stuff, right?
Yeah,
it's always a good way to go about it. Hulk smash the subscribe button, guys. We are out. We will be back soon. Peace.